everyone, my name is Marcus and I have something which I think is extremely and very special in front of me that I would like to share with you. I have Lalaland Records' new release of Superman the Movie, the complete score by John Williams. It is right here in my hand, finally. I managed to get my hands on it yesterday and I am so excited to unwrap and show you the goodness that is inside of this thing. Okay, but first, real quick, I just wanted to kind of give you a brief little explanation on this release. This is which I think now will be the definitive release of Superman the Movie, the score that is. It's got, from the looks of it so far, gorgeous new artwork. This will probably be sounding 10 times better than the material that is inside the infamous FSM Blue Box from a few years ago, and which itself sounds better than the original Rhino release from a few years before that, which itself sounds better than the original release that was released on CD, cassette, and LP and other different mediums. So, but I just wanted to share with you the goodness that is inside of this set. So let me shut up and I'll just slice away and show you what's inside. I'm so excited, and you should be too. So you unwrap the plastic, comes off kind of sort of like that, and there it is. All right, so here we go. So it's in a big clamshell looking type case, and the artwork on the side is pretty much the same as what can be found on Superman 2 and 3. You can see the font there, which also mirrors what's on Superman 4, and it just looks fantastic, and I haven't even opened it up yet. So if you look on the back, it has your track listing, disc 1, disc 2, and of course down there disc 3. Never mind the camera, if you can see the reflection. Sorry about that. So let's open it up. Whoa, look at that. So on the first disc there, you'll see the image of Jor-El with the infamous symbol in the background there. Looks awesome, completely amazing. You take it out, you see there's young Clark lifting up the truck from the beginning of the film after the Krypton sequence. And Glenn Ford there in awe, of course. And the disc is put in place. And the booklet is right here. And one thing I just want to point out right away that I like very much is that the original album artwork has been reproduced right here. Even though it's not on the cover, it's been faithfully reproduced right here, which I think is awesome. So basically you get like a much better looking version of this image here. So that's cool. And of course you have the DC logo there and 40th anniversary remastered edition. So let's get that out real quick. And then of course, further in the set, finally you see the Man of Steel himself, Superman, Chris Reeve, in one of the probably more famous of his publicity poses, and probably one of my favorites. And so I'm so glad to see his image there. I'm kind of surprised he's not on disc 1, but really when you think about it, it kind of makes sense from a story standpoint, because really, you know, the first half of the movie, or the first part of the movie, is Krypton, and the second part of the movie, it's him becoming learning about himself and becoming Superman. So that's fitting. And the third act is about Luthor, well, really, and Superman trying to stop whatever was going on. So, and you have, of course, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor carrying the infamous rock of kryptonite that he secured from Addis Ababa. Did I say that right? So you take this disc out, and there you see Clark there, or Superman, rescuing Lois, or trying to rescue Lois before he did that zip around and change time and all that. So that's there, and it's also cool to see that. And the artwork is just beautiful. Of course, the artwork by Jim Titus, did I say that right? And of course, Jim Bowers, his artwork and all of his restoration of the imagery from Superman film, from these Superman films, is just fantastic, and I would highly recommend anybody checking that out. And that of course is also here, and the disc goes back in there like that. Just look at that, how much of a gorgeous package that is. So now I'm going to just flip through the book real quick and show you. You can see again, once again, the original LP image on the cover there. And on the back, you have an awesome picture, awesome image, basically taken from the You'll Believe a Man Can Fly promo image. And pristine, clear, crisp. It's just fantastic. You open it up. Of course, you have some liner notes by Mike Matessino, of course, who was the main one in charge of restoring and producing this album. And of course, you have another image of Chris there, and it gives you a whole backstory. And it's a lot of this, I'm sure, is faithfully reproduced or was ported over from the Blue Box. I haven't read it yet. It may actually be different, but I'm sure the same information is just in both places. And you turn the page there, you got some more imagery from the film, and more text, of course, and more text. There is the shot of Superman and Lois flying in the Can You Read My Mind sequence. And I don't recall seeing this shot of Margot Kidder, rest in peace. Rather beautiful shot of her, I think. And of course, Glenn Ford as Jonathan Kent, and Clark down there, young Clark or Kal-El, emerging from the rocket with the material that would soon become his cape, I'm guessing, right? And more imagery there. Otisburg. And the 3 Kryptonian criminals. And Miss Tessmacher. God, his art is great. And more on that. And here's a section on the making of the music. So definitely check that out. I've always been fascinated by that sort of thing. And you have the rocket ship escaping the doomed planet, and more text and more text and more shots from the film and more on that. It kind of breaks down all the various themes from the film, which, if I recall, was in the liner notes to the FSM Blue Box. So if you don't have that box, then the information is here. So that's kind of a nice thing, I think. And you have, again, you have that breakdown that I mentioned a little bit earlier. You have the origin, which is the first part of the movie of Krypton, and then you get to the growing up Smallville thing, and then you have the Lois Lane love theme. Of course, it skips that, and then you get on to the kryptonite, crystal, and so on and so forth. And it's all broken down here very nicely, and another image there, and more text, and finally, which I'm sure everybody will jump to read about, this section talks about this 40th anniversary edition. That's this edition of this release, and pretty much explains and hopefully should answer many of your questions. So basically, this is the ultimate edition of this score. I guess sometime recently, they just discovered new elements that were the best quality or whatnot. And it's been restored from the ground up, I think, in pristine condition. And most importantly, there are some alternate tracks on here that we've never heard before. So I can't wait to plot this thing in and hear that Fortress of Solitude alternate, I think it is. And so yeah, some of the questions should hopefully be answered here. And probably my absolute favorite shot of Chris, which is also the same picture or image that was seen in the 1983 Supergirl film, if anybody's just wondering. And of course, the maestro himself, John Williams, conducting as he appeared back then, and more about that. And of course, more text there. And there's a shot of Williams there with, I don't remember who that guy is. I can't recognize him from that side profile. But yeah, that's more on that. And finally, you get the track breakdown with the image that was reproduced on the inside of the inlay. And so you'll notice the complete score for the most part is on disc 1, with it continuing on disc number 2. And then you have that, and then you have the score concludes, and then you get the love theme from Superman before it gets into all the various alternates and such. Now, the one thing you'll notice is that track 15 is an alternate segment of the Fortress of Solitude. Whatever you do, when you get your set, open this thing up, plop it in, and play that track. By the time I'm done with all of this, that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do. So I would highly recommend you do that, because this is the first piece of Superman music that we've never heard before, like ever. So that's going to be exciting. And of course, disc 3, which is something that I think is pretty awesome all in itself. It's the reproduction of the original soundtrack album from 1978. And it's the same exact thing as this, with the extra tracks from the LP. And for those of you who are curious, you can check out this wonderful Caped Wonder, did I say it? Did I actually mention that right? Podcast, where they actually sit down and talk about it and explain the various releases for over the decades. And yeah, so that's something definitely you should check out. And so yeah, the original album is faithfully produced here. So if you're someone that just likes the original album presentation, you'll have that faithfully here as well. And it's been remastered, remixed, all of that stuff, just like the rest of the score. So it's like you're getting the ultimate package of the score, and I couldn't be happier. As you can see, I'm sporting the Superman shirt, the Reeve symbol, and so yeah. And of course, on the back, it has your cue and recording information. For those of you film music nuts like I am, this is always kind of nice to see the layout, slate numbers as they're called. And so you have all of that information here, which is definitely a nice bonus. And then of course you have all of your credits, information from the people who worked on the various album, and of course the musicians, of course, too, I think. No, those are just all people who worked on their albums or whatnot. And of course it ends with that image there. This set is I've been wanting this for so long. And I know it sounds kind of stupid because I have it in a blue box. And there is nothing wrong with this set. If you have this set and you're happy with it, that's fine. But I would highly recommend you go and pick this up. Why? Because this will sound 10 times better than this. And I thought this sounded good. And also available from Lalaland, you can check out Superman 2 and 3, which is in a similar kind of packaging style. So definitely check that out. And also Superman 4. So now Lalaland has officially released all 4 scores to the Superman films. So, and I know it sounds kind of silly because I have the blue box here, but these are better. I'm a sucker for presentation. I'm a sucker for artwork. And I am not disappointed at all, and you will not be either. So please go check them out. If you haven't ordered this set already, please do so. Yeah, so now I'm going to shut up and unfortunately leave you all hanging, because I'm going to go plot this in and listen to that track 15. And once again, when you get yours, that should be the first thing you do too. It is a beautiful, ultimately beautiful package, and worth every cent, every cent. So please go and pick this up. Superman is waiting on you.